Spoilers for Fantastic Beasts 3 Secrets of Dumbledore. Fantastic Beasts The Secrets of Dumbledore is a movie, obviously. Now, I went to see this movie in the cinema with my mum. I was ecstatic. I remember I watched Crimes of Grindelwald for the first time. I loved it. I watched it again, realised it had no second act at all. It was a horrendous movie. So I did not have high hopes for this one. My mum, however, did. So I walk into the cinema, all the Pearl and Dean ads and Lloyd's Bank ads are going on. I sit down and I'm like, this has got to be better than the last one, right? It's going to be better than the last one. Anything's going to be better than Crimes of Grindelwald. Well, it was better than Crimes of Grindelwald, but then again, it's not really saying much, is it? Fantastic Beasts 3, Secrets of Dumbledore, is a absolute mess of a film. And it just frazzles my brain. It's so confusing. There's so much stuff that it just does not get about Harry Potter in general. But anyway, some positives, first of all. The acting, I liked the acting. There was a bit of a thing where Jude Law kept on going from English to Irish. Didn't quite get that, but you know, that was that. It's Matt Mikkelsen, who's Johnny Depp's replacement. He did a good job. He did a good job as a replacement. Like, yeah, Johnny Depp's gone, beat his wife. It's kind of sad, but you know, Matt Mikkelsen, he did do a good job. I think he did do a better job than Johnny Depp. There's this bit with some weird scorpion creatures. I don't know what they're called, and I'm not going to Google them. But there's this bit with these scorpion creatures in like a prison, and it's very funny. I really liked it. However, there's a lot of things I did not like with this movie. First of all, it fundamentally does not get what Harry Potter is. Harry Potter, at its core, right, is a mystery. Like, what's the Philosopher's Stone? Who or what is petrifying the students? Who's the prisoner of Azkaban? Who put Harry's name in the goblet of fire? But what this film does is it takes Harry Potter and turns it into a political drama. I'm not joking, right? There's this bit in the beginning where I thought there was going to be a bit of a mystery. Like, you know, it's like... So there's a bit near the start where there's like the international minister for magic called Anton something. He's German, because I go to Germany to go and find him. And he's there, and he's making this speech, and then he says, "Oh yeah, Grindelwald's being pardoned." Didn't quite get that. We'll get to that in a bit. But he says, I was thinking, like, yeah, they're going to blow something up. It's going to be like Captain America's Civil War, where the Wakandan president's making the speech, and then it all goes to shit, right? Right? No, the speech carries on until the end. I thought the mystery of it was going to be like, who's assassinated the president, or who's trying to blow up the president. But no, it's just politics. Like, I like the Star Wars prequels. I'm gonna make a big video about all the Star Wars films, I promise. And I like the politics in the Star Wars films. That's because Star Wars was always about politics. Harry Potter is not a political story. There are elements of politics, like the Ministry of Magic and Cornelius Fudge, but Harry Potter is not meant to be a story about politics. Speaking of the politics, at a point in this movie, Gellert Grindelwald, he gets pardoned by the International Minister for Magic called Anton. Let's call him Anton for now. So Anton, everyone loves Grindelwald now because now he's definitely not a murderer and a fugitive. He definitely committed all those murders. There's multiple witnesses for it, but they pardon him anyway. That didn't make sense to me. But there's the bit where he's outside the German Ministry for Magic, and the crowd loves him. The crowd just wants to like just touch him. You know that bit in Batman vs Superman where all the people are trying to grab Superman so he's like a god or something? It's like that, except now it's Mads Mikkelsen. But Anton, standing above all this, he says, "You know what? Let's let Gellert Grindelwald, the murderer, run for president." And I'm like, what? He literally yesterday he was he was a wanted international criminal, and now you want him to be the president of all the ministries of magic, the International Ministry of Magic. You want him to be the president? You want him to be the International Minister for Magic? Are you kidding me? And then he explains it, and he says, yes, he will lose, and then the people will see the error of their ways. And I'm like, yeah, you want people to see the error of ways? Just arrest them if they support a murderer? And also, if you don't want him to win, then don't let him run in the first place. Like, it makes no sense. His plan, Anton's plan, makes zero sense. Because if you don't want him to win, then don't let him run. Like, I get with, like, the whole, like, oh yes, the people must learn the lesson. But, like, why? You could do that in a different way, other than let him run for president? It's just, it's so dumb. It's so dumb. This happens throughout the movie. And literally, in a scene or two before this scene, where everyone's like, I love him, I love Gellert Grindelwald. This fight, dude. There's a battle between Credence, played by Ezra Miller, who's great, and Dumbledore, played by Jude Law. And they have a little fight in the street in France. Now this fight starts where Credence spots Dumbledore from the other side of the street. A snowflake falls. Dumbledore blows it. It turns back around in the mirror, and then it hits Credence on the forehead. Now they stand around, and everything's going in slow motion. And I was like, this seems a bit familiar. I wonder where I've seen this before. Then Credence just rips up the ground and starts throwing stuff at Dumbledore with his magic. But he doesn't have a wand. Now Dumbledore gets his wand out, so that's deflecting all the stuff. And then he dissolves the street. Now it's in a black void with a puddle. And Credence falls into the puddle. And at this point, Dumbledore says, no, Grindelwald, he's lied to you about everything. And then once Credence has fallen into this puddle, Dumbledore says, no, actually, you are Dumbledore? I'm sorry, Grindelwald is either lying to him, or he's a Dumbledore. Make up your mind, right? Because Grindelwald, his final line at the end of Fantastic Beasts 2 was to Credence saying, you are a Dumbledore. Right? So he's lying about that, right? No! He's still a Dumbledore, but he's also being lied to. Doesn't make any sense. Right, so then they fall out of this puddle and into the real world. And then all of a sudden I knew where I saw this from. I saw this exact same fight in Doctor Strange. They're using their hands as an altered dimension where it doesn't affect the real world. It's just Doctor Strange. They just copied a fight from Doctor Strange and put it in Harry Potter. It doesn't... You need the wand to channel the magic. You can't just force push the ground like you're a Jedi. It doesn't work like that. It's so dumb. I hate it, right? And then there's this creature. There's this creature that we're introduced to at the start of the movie. It's called Quillin, right? And basically, at the start of the movie, Newt, he goes to a birth of one of these Quillin things. And one of them, and then all of a sudden, Credence comes along and his posse, and they kill the mother, Quillin, and then thingy, Newt, he runs away with it. He runs away with the baby Quillin, and then he loses it, and then the Credence and his posse take the Quillin. Now, just so happens, what a coincidence, they had twins. Wow, amazing. They had twins. So now there's 2 Quillins. Now, these Quillins are important to the plot. Integral to the plot, in fact. You cannot take these things out of the plot without it making no sense. The system of election in this movie is the stupidest thing. Remember how Anton's plan was to look at the people, to make the people go, look at this idiot. Is to make them see that Gellert Grindelwald is a stupid candidate, so they wouldn't vote for him. Except the political system, you don't actually vote for the leader. You can campaign for the leader, but this little dear fucking creature, the Quillin, decides it for you. I'm not even kidding, right? There's this thing set up earlier, right? The Quillin, right? The Quillin is like this thing, and it like bows to anyone who's truly pure of heart. And basically, they use this to elect the next president. Now Grindelwald, he manages to corrupt the Quillin that Credence gets for him. And Anton is there to see this. Anton watches as he actively corrupts this Quillin. And he doesn't do anything. And he still holds the ceremony with the corrupted Quillin. And he knows it's corrupted because he saw it get corrupted. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't. Right? So, oh my god. So then it bows to Grindelwald. It bows to Grindelwald because they got corrupted or something. And then Newt uses the uncorrupted one to bloody make it so Grindelwald isn't the president, so he doesn't start a war against the Muggles and the wizards and stuff. So yeah, that's that. The movie ends. They don't capture Grindelwald again. They nearly kill Credence. Dumbledore stops him, and they have a fight. So the 1945 fight, though, you gotta wait another 3 movies for that one. It's they're dragging this out. They are. But I had this one issue with this one item, right? And it's this tie. That sounds dumb, but listen to me. Basically, at the start of the movie, Newt gives all the people at the start of the beginning, they give them all a tool. And he gives his brother Theseus a tie, which is laced with gold. There's like a little gold crest in the middle of the tie. Now this is meant to obviously attract the little Niffler thing, the little hedgehog thing. You know him, everyone knows him. You got a plushie of him, I know you do. But they use this tie. So you know how I mentioned earlier those scorpion things in the prison? Well, turns out there's this giant scorpion which kills the prisoners, throws the prisoners' dead bodies back up for the little scorpions to feed on. Now Theseus, he falls into the hole with the big scorpion. They're being chased by the guy who owns the prison. The little stick dude, I've forgotten his name, has Newt's wand. Newt is trying to hold Theseus on for dear life. The Niffler has the tie, and then Newt goes, grab the tie, and then they go pop, and they vanish. The guy who owns the prison dies. It's implied that he does because his light goes out, so he's dead. But then, turns out this tie is a portkey. How, in God's green earth, did Newt Scamander know that he would need that tie at that point? Because if you don't know, a portkey is an object that's just any old thing. No muggle will pick it up and play with it like it's like a shoe or a deflated football. Something that muggles won't touch. They just think it's litter. Like, a Twix wrapper could be a portkey. These things have to be timed, as is shown in the Goblet of Fire. And all the Weasleys and the Diggories and Harry and Hermione all gather around this old crusty boot, and they go to try a wizard tournament. It says, "Oh, this is a 5:30 thing. This is a 5:30 portkey from Stokeshead Hill, like it's an underground terminal kind of thing." But what they do with this is somehow Newt knows to time it at this exact point, so Theseus doesn't die. And then they can get to Hogwarts to meet Dumbledore and everyone else. My mum proposed a theory that perhaps they didn't time it back then. Or they couldn't time it back then. By a world-building standpoint, that doesn't make sense. Because one famous example is the speeder bikes with tractor with like tank wheels on the front from Rise of Skywalker. It does not make any sense to digress from movie to movie. If you have to have it timed in the Goblet of Fire, which takes place in 1994, and then all of a sudden you don't have to time it in the 1930s, you have a serious issue with your world building, because you have to time it in all of them, or you don't time it at all. It doesn't make any sense. Like, this tie is the bane of my existence. I despise this tie with a passion. But anyway, that's it for this video. This is my first time doing this kind of video essay, rambling things. So, I'll see you guys in the next one. Where I don't know what I'll be doing. Something about Batman, something about Star Wars, something about both. I don't know. I'll see you guys in a bit. Bye-bye.